Hey, welcome everyone to this webinar on how to change career in 2017. We're here to have fulfilling careers and to make them better. It's not going to happen just on this webinar. It might not happen in the next job that you take, but we're going to make your next career move as good as it can be so you're moving towards fulfilling work. Now, I know you're here because your career decisions matter. The difficulty is no one else can tell you how to live your life or navigate those choices. So it's time to ask yourself the right questions to define success on your terms. We're going to go for about 50 minutes. I'll help you with all of the tools that I've learned over the last seven years. And then I want your questions and comments. And please just contribute throughout. Let me know what you're thinking. Ask those questions as we're going. I might not be able to answer them all at the same time as we're going, but I will get to them all as I can at the end. If I don't, email me your question to martin@life-productions.org that you have there. All right. So just a little bit about me. I'm Martin Underwood. I'm head of career strategy at Life Productions. I'm the founder as well. I made a successful career change from being a criminal law barrister to head of HR at one of the UK's fastest growing companies. Here I doubled the team and I learned what it takes to get hired. I've been career coaching for 4 years and been a career consultant to BBC University. It's one of the top universities for the professions, and I've helped thousands of people with their career. I'm qualified in psychometrics and career tests with the British Psychological Society. And this is really about what I've learnt in the last 7 years in recruitment, HR, career coaching and consultancy. So what's really driven me in my career change is wasted potential. I saw that when I was a criminal law barrister. And that's why I'm so driven by reimagining human potential. So the question for you is, how can you reimagine what you can do with your career and in the process who you can be? Let's get started. Hey everyone, just getting a few comments in there. Let me know where you're calling in from. You can't hear you properly, Lucy. I hope that my assistant for the day, Maham, can help you with that. Let me know if the sound doesn't get any better, and then we can try and find a different way to deal with it. So this slide is about how hard it is to find career fulfillment. And we're going to explore the challenges at a high level. Now, first is the overall system. Many people say I don't know how to figure all this out. It seems too big and complex to make these kind of changes. It's just too much uncertainty to get started. So there's the whole process and thinking this is overwhelming. And then looking at desirability, which ultimately is, what do you really want? Viability, what will someone pay you to do? Feasibility, how much time and money is it going to make this happen? I'm getting some feedback about my line not being very good. Guys, let me know in the chat box if this is a problem for other people as well. If it is, I can try and make alternative arrangements and try and make the sound better. This is a new system that we've been going with Webinar Ninja. Now, I hope it's going to get better. I've closed down other windows. And let's keep going. And by all means, if you have any problems with your particular feed, we'll try and make that better. This will be recorded. It may be better afterwards. So the problems that most people have on desirability, knowing what they want, is they have a lack of information about themselves. They don't know their abilities, their personality traits, their information about preferred career alternatives. And there's usually internal conflicts about what you want. Is it the day job with security or the dream job where you'd be excited? Is it the money that you want, or do you want a lifestyle career? And often there's an unwillingness to compromise. Next, viability, what someone will pay you to do. There's usually a lack of information about all of the best opportunities you have and what they will look like now and in the future. And you don't know often the variety of careers that are available to you with your unique situation. And feasibility. So your life, just like any problem, is full of constraints. It's time, money, age, location, and personal circumstances. These factors may be in conflict with one another, and your choices will depend on the scope of your change, how far your ideal end state is from where you are now, your family and responsibilities, how much risk you can take on, and how long your savings will last, and how are you going to pay the bills? That question is fundamental. So there's complexity in all of those three areas. Now I want to move on to consider how we can actually work with this. So we have to get to grips first with this process of career change. Now you'll see that there's actually a poll at the bottom of your screen. That simple question, where do you want to be in 6 months? Let me know on that. And we'll explore that at the end of this slide. So because your ideal work is as unique as you are, this process of discover, where you're researching and you're having diverging kind of interests, where you're exploring many paths. The second stage, define, where you're coming up with ideas and you're converging on the top 2 to 3. Third, develop, where you're taking those solutions and you're testing them. And that's often a diverse process, again, to narrow down to deliver when you've chosen the idea and you're going to make it happen. So going into more detail, discover is about getting clear on what you want. Get real with yourself. You can understand broadly what's happening. You can get to the bottom of those inconsistencies and tensions you might have, be it with money, life, meaning, helping others against helping your bank balance. And once you've got clear about that, and this usually takes place over a period of time with self-reflection, and we've been asked the right questions in a structured process, you can define. And that's when you're creating more ideas that are going to fit what you want. And you're positive about this change. You're being more creative as you discover new career paths you haven't thought about. And you get more ideas coming to you. And you can prioritize and map your top 2 to 3 optimal career trajectories. And we're thinking of specific roles and specific industries. And we're not being woolly about things just about strengths or particular skills. We're very specific. And that's when we can develop. Okay, that's where we're testing these ideas. And the result of that is you go from high anxiety to much less anxiety about your future. You're confident about making that next step. And you've decided, because the expected return of that move that you're going to make far outweighs the risk and the hassle of doing it. And that's when you can get into action. And that's when you can really test whether you've made a decision by the action that you're taking, by being energized about that new direction. And that's when you can feel in charge of that situation. And what often happens with people is they feel more ambitious. And they think it's important to have new experiences that challenge them and how they think about the world and how they fit in it. Next, deliver. And the outcome there is you've landed that job that you really wanted, which is pushing you towards fulfilling work. So I'm just having a look at the polls here. And it's a mixture of those that people are coming in with. So there's some around. I don't have any answers there, yeah? Do you guys get that poll at the bottom? Where there's 7 choices and 8 the other. I'm going to move on. I have no faith in Webinar Ninja. I hope it'll be working. Now I'm going to take you through some tools that are going to help you, starting with this one in the discover phase. Now, in order to figure out what you really want, research has shown that you are the best predictor of your career direction when asked the right questions and provided structure, insight, and a debrief. There's nothing out there that could help you do this quickly. And knowing that you're the best predictor, we put together the Career Fulfillment Score. In 5 minutes, you can understand what you really want to change at work. We've based this on 9 factors of career fulfillment. You see on the left, it's based on 56 work studies to show you what you really want to change quickly. It's free. You can take a look at that on the site. I will send the link through as well. And what's clear from this is that moving is not always the answer. It may just be a small change that you need, be it of the team, of your organization, which tend to be the easiest things to change before you consider larger leaps. And you want to get to the bottom of what really is it that you want to change that's going to make the difference. And this is complex. I just want to explore these factors further with you. Let me first explain what we're trying to do here, which is answer the question, what is fulfilling work for you? Now, that assumes that work is meeting your basic needs. So you also need the absence of these things that are going to make work unpleasant. So all of the following tend to be linked to job dissatisfaction. 1, a long commute. 2, very long hours. 3, job insecurity. Although these sound obvious, people often overlook them. The negative consequences can be enough to outweigh many other positive factors that may be there in your job and you're overlooking. So next, your work drivers and those questions. Do I want to do this work and why? Can I do this? And first looking at the day-to-day, and that's around the tasks that you're doing, the thinking you're doing, and the people you're doing it with. And the key question, we'll explore this further, is are you really engaged in the work that you're doing throughout the week? The long-term motivators then are purpose and meaning, where you find that defining thread that runs through your life, and it usually comes through one of these 4 sources. A sense of achievement. Second is helping other people. Third is belonging, or feeling part of something that's bigger than you. The 4th is creativity and self-expression. Purpose is so important. Without it, we can lose our way and become demotivated and may become depressed. So the good test is whether you're proud of what you do and whether you're going to tell other people about it. The second part of long-term drivers is the life fit and how well your life fits with your work, and balance is the key there. Third is career capital. And that's going well when you have that growth, training and mentoring you need. And you can say that you're gaining the experience, the knowledge, the skills and networks to advance your career at the pace that you want. And that all has to come hand in hand with self-belief, where you are the center of control of your life. You like yourself and you're confident that you can do it. Next, this comes with the environment that you're working with, which has 2 prongs to it to answer that question. How do I need to do things around here? You're looking at your team, and at its best, it's the cohesion and collaboration you have with other people to play to your strengths, contain the weaknesses of all, and you have enough shared value, enough conflict, and enough respect to be able to work together. The next is organization, and it can have a huge influence on your feelings when you become disconnected with the company culture. And you have to find that match in values. The third prong of this is your day-to-day again. And in this particular context, am I good at and do I enjoy this? And you can break that down in these 3 areas. The task is your experience and how you go about anything you're doing at work. And it will improve when you have just the right level of challenge and time constraint. Your tasks have variety. You have autonomy to plan your work and make decisions about your tasks. And you feel what you're doing is significant. You care about that end result and you get feedback on it. You're going to be more engaged when you're interested in what you're doing. The subject matter you're naturally curious about. And then on to thinking. This is about the work that you do alone that satisfies you. What you're really looking for there is the information, the planning, the problem solving, decision making is what engages you. Next, it's useful to consider that separate to the interactions you're having with people. And you're asking whether the work you do with others keeps you engaged, and whether you're okay with a level of positive to negative interactions. There's all of those factors which will contribute to career fulfillment. So I took this score, which was the highest score that we've had in the last month in the career fulfillment score. So high scores, and the highest is 6, mean that you don't want to change anything at work. Low scores, 2.25 or less, mean you really want to change it. This person's doing great. This person isn't. It's the worst score of January. If anyone has scores like this, please consider changing quickly. So next tool in the Discover section, I just want to touch on, is the importance of a career test that will match you to careers based upon your profile. A systematic search procedure that can identify a small subset of the best jobs and allow you to explore these in depth by collecting detailed information about them. So one that I really like is So Can You, SOKANU, So Can You. It's a tool to make sense of all of this information regarding careers and personal priorities. So it creates that match. It can tell you whether you're not right for the career that you're in because of your profile, whether you shouldn't pursue a particular career because of your profile, or whether you should. And I want to just dive into a little bit of detail about that. This aligns with your values. So those are the innate characteristics that define your behavior at work. So things like how you approach relationships and decision-making, how you feel about authority, the team role that you want. It then takes your personality and ensures that you're playing to your strengths here. There's 146 traits in this particular test, and it's how you score relative to other people that's so important. And it's a very important way of predicting your performance, and therefore whether you're going to be good at it, which is a big contributor to whether you're going to enjoy it. So just taking conscientiousness, for example, which generally describes how reliable, hardworking you are. It tends to be the best personality predictor of performance. But if you know you're a bit lazy, then clearly structured roles, close supervision, and formalized communication systems may help to reduce this. Another part of personality, your emotional stability. And individuals who score highly on this trait experience less negative emotion, and generally they'll handle stress better. So if you want to go to the moon and be an astronaut, brilliant, when you can actually absorb that stress and work with it. All of those factors are matched well in this kind of test, and they're going to match your interests. So your broad interests, which measure the type of activities you enjoy, they're based on a slightly outdated system called the Holland Code, and they actually go into your detailed interests as well. So you get finer distinctions between what you're really going to be curious about and enjoy. And always it's best to complement any test results you get with other sources of information. So there's a career fulfillment score I've talked about. It's your knowledge, your experience and insights about your life. And you can look to other tests that I've got here in the icons. A strengths test may be useful to complement that. I'd recommend the Strengths Finder 2.0 from Gallup and the VIA character strengths test. Whatever test that you take, develop the skills in getting appropriate feedback. It's great if you've got someone that's trained in these tests, but even a friend can do that for you. So you can create that opportunity to explore any apparent inconsistencies in your test results and find the insights that really matter. Definitely ensure they're valid and reliable. Those are the two things. Valid means it's measuring what you want to measure it. It's going to give you those results that are useful for you in your career, and it's reliable, meaning it's consistent if you take it one day and the next. Now I want to move into ideas. So we're moving from step 1 to step 2 of define. And at the heart of any successful career change is a great idea. Now, some are going to seem simple because you've thought about them before. Others that you'll have will be inspiring and you'll think, wow. Now, a solid place to start is the career test like So Can You that will match you to that specific career. And You're going to be getting clearer all the time about exactly what you want. I'm not going to touch on those kind of big dream big kind of questions, like what do you really want to do? What are your dreams? What did you want to do as a kid? You'll probably find them in lots of sources. I'd recommend that you start closer to where you are already. It's important not to run away from your current career and what might be working there and what you can translate into a smaller shift. So the more information you have about similar roles in industry to your current position, the more fertile your idea generation will be from there. So this screenshot I have of My Skills, My Future is a self-paced tool from the US Department of Labor. It's very useful to use your previous experience to identify occupations that you might be qualified for, and also the skills. You'll get a shortlist quickly. And what happens in America is more or less comparable to the UK market. So moving on from there, ONET is another great US resource. ONET Online has detailed job descriptions by role and industry that you can sort through quickly. Now you'll need to understand their categorization of jobs, and it is detailed, and you'll see that, before you can then move on to these particular searches. Now this is their advanced search drop-down menu. Start out with related detailed work activity searches and related task searches. That will give you a list of jobs that are closely related to yours. Now you can select more or less in order to narrow or widen your search. There's a drop-down menu where you can do that. Then you can move on to a related skill search on the ones you're good at and you enjoy, only focusing on those particular skills. You can also look at particular factors that are going to be really important to you, whether it's working outside or using a particular knowledge or interest that you have. Next, you can then move on to these particular searches where you've found a particular job that you really like, and you'll find the related occupations at the bottom of the page on that profile. Have a look at those, see the ones that resonate, explore the profile further to see whether it really is a good match for you. And if you're still not seeing ideas you like, then you can try their broader kind of occupation searches. Try out the industry search. You're more likely to be interested in similar activities, products or services within there if you like that industry. Browse by career cluster, containing occupations of similar industries, skills, interests, and then look through the job family. So that's a lot broader, and it looks at the work performed, skills, education, and training. Now, by this point, you will have a list of your top roles and your top industries that you can sort together with the tools that we have. So get that list of all of your top roles and your top industries. And now, when we have these together, we're looking to do one of a few things. Now, we can integrate different roles and functions together in order to make something unique. When you get this list, ask yourself, what looks most interesting and exciting when you combine different things that you're interested in? Try to integrate those roles together. So just as an example, you see coaching at the top of the top roles list and marketing. It's like, well, how can they fit together? And think about how you could do, for example, a research and coaching job around a marketing position, a company that focuses on marketing. It might be that there's an association or an industry body. It might just be an organization that specializes in marketing and helps others with it. So take any of these roles and then consider them next, and consider whether they can be industries as well. So there's often an overlap here. Because again, just finding that marketing association or body, something like that. You play around with this, try the combinations and see what works. And remember, we're thinking expansive ideas here. This will work for some people and it'll be great. I'm just getting a question, can I make the slides bigger? And I can't at the minute. So I'm going to push on. Hopefully they're going to come up better in the replay. If they don't, just email me and I will send you through a list of these slides so you can see them. An important part of then being able to make decisions between different jobs is that you get one single page that condenses all of your career fulfillment criteria in one place. So this is a list prioritized of the things that are most important to you. You probably won't be able to see this well, but this is a flower. It's one piece of paper. All of those petals represent different areas, be it achievement, skills, strengths, working environment, knowledge, and interests. And in the middle, then you can get those success criteria. That's one way of doing it that we have. Another way of doing it is a more detailed spreadsheet. And this one, for example, can give you numerical calculations of your particular scores. First, mapping the themes on the left-hand side. So it could be ones related to the career fulfillment score, or you can make your own up. So it'll be things like people, environment, objectives, long-term. You're going to have a weighting of that as a theme to show how important it is against other themes that you have. And that allows you to be very clear about whether it is you're going after the money or the lifestyle, and you've made those choices. And then a detailed description in your work success criteria. So you really know what you're looking for, and you've weighted how important they are. That is the granular level of detail that you will be able to make decisions between options that seem very similar. And whatever system you use, make sure that you have a clear, written, succinct list of career fulfillment criteria. And ONET that I was talking about before can give you the granular detail that you need in order to explore those conflicts and get down to what I recommend is 2 to 3 careers that you can then explore in greater detail. So there will be internal conflicts. Sometimes there is an unwillingness to compromise. There seem like there's several equally attractive career alternatives. Or there just might be some that seem undesirable for certain factors that you then rule it out. Get specific, get granular detail so that you can make those decisions at an early phase in order to prioritize. Now I want to move on to just a few tools in the develop phase. So where we have picked a few ideas, 2 to 3 would be ideal. You've done the desk-based research on them, they're thoroughly researched, we haven't gone into that. And through this research, you'll usually have a list of companies and people you're interested in, and they're also thoroughly researched. So natural networking can make a huge difference because just with 1 or 2 or 3 conversations with the right people, you can often dramatically change the course of your career without having to spend years lost or going around the houses. What's important about it is it makes it real what you're doing. You're speaking to this person that's done it. You're getting answers to the questions that you need. Now, most people don't like networking. This on the left is like a classic kind of attitude that someone will have to networking. It's just hustling people. It's slimy, it's desperate. Now, for most people, maybe, but you can reframe that. Because really behind that fear is also when you're thinking that people don't actually have time to help strangers, nor do they care to. It's just not correct. You know, just think when you ask directions from a stranger, they give them to you. Most people love helping out others, and they'll help you too when you go about it the right way. Some other common barriers that I see is that people say, oh, I go to networking events, but all I meet are people desperate to give me their business cards and find out if I'm somebody important. Well, it's about networking the right way with the right people that are going to help you. Finally, some people will say, oh, well, networking isn't for me. I don't have a great network. But that really is not a barrier. It's not a problem. Everyone has more people in a network than they realize, everyone. It's a matter of understanding who's in that network and then selectively reaching out and understanding how they can help you. That kind of reframing is really, really important to do throughout so that you make the progress that you need to. So this is an email from someone who was on the course last year. So I'll read it out to you. It's probably not clear, but Second paragraph, I found out today that I've been accepted to be the research coordinator and principal researcher for a project at Galway University Ireland with the disability scholar I Skyped during the career design course. So someone that Maria contacted in this phase develop then offered her a job. And I spoke to her last week, and this is a job without competition. They did a perfunctory job of doing external advertising when it really was hers. That's the power that can happen when you start to make genuine connections with people in something you're really curious and excited about. This is the 4-stage steps to do it. Find the experts, email them, show up, and follow up to get more help. Let's explore them in more detail. So we want to avoid unfocused networking that will get you in the wrong places with slimy people just seeing if you're important. We want to get away from unfocused networking where you talk to everybody. It will waste your time. It will grate against you when you're doing this. And we want to get to the correct way where you're talking to an expert, someone who has experience doing what you want to do. It might mean they've had the job or they've worked at that organization you love and they're an authority in that industry. So LinkedIn is the most powerful way that you can do this. If you haven't already, expand your network, import all of your email contacts. Get your Facebook contacts in there as well. LinkedIn makes that very easy to do. And then you can do granular searches to find someone that will be most useful for you. Now, for example, if you're in sales with the security industry, but you want to find out the best way to advance to a marketing role, you want to find exactly the right person. So you enter the desired job title, so marketing manager. Next step, you put your existing title and variants of it, so sales, and you put past, not current, in the drop-down options, which will eliminate people who are still in sales. So only the ones that have moved from sales to marketing. Then we go into industries and check the related boxes such as marketing and sales. And then we can scroll to the bottom and we can look at keywords, which might be useful. They might make the search too narrow and you can play around with that. So then you have someone with a similar background to you. You can refine the years of experience, the role and industry filters to find the right person. So choose 2 people for each job title that you've boiled it down to. As you say, we've usually got 2 to 3 by this point. That seems the most interesting and accessible, and ideally well connected in an organization that's hiring. That's when we can take natural networking in an informational sense into advocacy networking, where you're actually going for that job, which happened for Maria. Now it's easy if they're first connections. LinkedIn has tiers of connections, basically you're close to them. I'd recommend emailing them, not on LinkedIn, you'll get a better response. If they're second connections, then you can usually get an introduction through that person. If it's third connections, it gets a bit more tricky. I don't have time to go into that now. So when you're emailing someone, use the plugin Email Hunter. It's a plugin, an extension to Chrome to find email addresses from LinkedIn and other sites, because you'll get that better response rate by going by email. And we want to get that as high as possible to ensure you get where you want to quickly. Now use a tool like Discovery to find those connections that you have in common and get an introduction. So this can plug into your email. You can look at Twitter, Facebook, in order to find the mutual friends that you have in common. And that will dramatically increase the response rate that you get. Now, finally, it's important to map your strongest connections that you have right now in your email, so you can see at a glance who might be helpful. Immersion from MIT is a great piece of software that will visualize your network very, very quickly. I find it very useful. Whenever I do this, I'm really surprised by the people that I'm in contact with and I've forgotten about. It will help you too. There'll probably be some diamonds in that. So next, we want to send that email. And we want to send a good one, not a poor one like this. And the problem is with these lists of questions, why would a busy person, a top expert, want to answer questions that you could have solved with 30 to 60 minutes of Googling? I mean, really, It's a waste of their time. When you ask great questions, they will take you seriously and they will help you. Now, of course, some emails are always going to be bad when you start off. That's okay. My emails were bad too when I started off, and they will get really much better when you improve over time and refine your approach. So this is an example of a better email. Now, I've made it easier with lots of emails and the scripts that I have, which will give a template for each eventuality. So without that, you can still do it. Remember these general principles. First paragraph, make me care as the reader. Congratulate me on an award that I've just won that you found with a 5-minute search on Twitter and other social accounts. Point out that I'm an alumni of the university that you went to. Mention something in common. Make me care. That's the key role. Second rule, add your career story. I'm going to go into that in just a second after we've gone into the other structure. And then have a very specific yes or no test. So that is one single request with a proposed time and alternate times. Very easy for someone to say yes or no. It makes their decision-making time very small and easy when they've got too many emails and they'll actually action this one. But don't be chatty, 5 sentences max. Ideal that you're going to meet in person, that's why we've asked for it. Send the email on Monday or Tuesday. You'll usually be best served by that because the email response will be higher, and ask to meet the week after. Follow up in 3 to 5 working days if you've got no response. So follow these tips. You have a dramatically higher response rate. That will make your life a lot easier and your career change a lot quicker and smoother. Now, show up and ask good questions across these 4 kind of areas. And I'm thinking back now to the slide that you have with the overlapping circles. Let's go into all of them. Now, of course, we know we're not going to ask questions that we could just easily have researched on Google in 30 to 60 minutes. We're not going to waste their time or our time. The best questions for desirability are digging into the day-to-day. When you ask behavioral-based questions, you're more likely to get an authentic picture of what's happening. So, for example, tell me what your typical work hours have been in the last few months. We'll get you a much better, clearer, more honest answer. Try to get the person to tell a story about an experience by asking for the last time, the first time, the best time, or the worst time they did something. Dig into the key scenes of that particular event. Usually 3 to 5 to understand what's happening better. So you can really imagine what this person is doing in order to understand whether it's right for you. So just be exploratory. Be open to the insights that you have through this conversation. And all the time, question their expectations. Ask what they expected to see and how the reality compares to that expectation. That's usually a key question to understand what you would not otherwise know and what is not clear from the outside. Don't forget to ask what they would change if they had a magic wand, about their work, about their career. Again, that will usually get insights that will often be overlooked in just a normal conversation about their work. What are some things most people do not realize about this career? Is your job typical of others in this field? They're all really good questions to get clear. Next, viability. So is someone going to pay you for this is the key question. So we want to go beyond the standard questions like what are employers looking for in this career? Skills, education, experience, because you can pick that up very easily from job boards. You can look through 3 to 5 and get a feel. You want to test your assumptions about this particular role. So this is after your deep research, you have particular questions and uncertainties, and you've then reformulated them in assumptions about this particular job that must hold true for you to say yes. And usually they're things like, well, my unique experience and skills will bypass the need for X amount of years experience. I found that it says in the job titles and the job boards in order to get that level of seniority I want. So you want to test that assumption. And another one is usually, well, my particular background and experience and reading X amount of books of experts in this particular new area, doing Y amount of workshops or courses is sufficient to show what I need to in terms of experience and knowledge. So a way that you can usually get to that kind of thing with a person is you ask them, well, it looks like this job requires, let's say, 3 years of leadership development in blue chip organizations. Can I learn that on my own or not at all? Could be a way in which you try to do that, having given the background that you have that you think justifies it. That's the best way you're going to really pare down whether it's viable for you to do this, whether it's actually going to fly. And you also want to find out about current job prospects. You'll probably know vaguely just from the information you can get from good careers tests, like So Can You, but you might want to dig into that, into the specifics that you are. Next, feasibility. So ask them to describe the investments they made along the way in terms of education, training, equipment, systems. Ask them, what do you believe was the best investment you made in your career? Get to the heart of what factors they think are feeding success and also its traps. What are the factors that inhibit and facilitate success at each step? And then with the next steps, certainly ask for particular resources that are going to be useful for you to skill yourself up more, to develop that knowledge base that you need. Ask for advice on specific areas that have come up. Ask for recommendations. How would you get to this particular point given the experience that you've given? Ask for further introductions. See where they can connect you to and where that can lead. And also, if it's appropriate, explore the kind of assignments that they're doing now, what they're working on, just so you can go away and think about, how can I help this person do this? And that can often be an in order to you to develop a particular project where you can prototype doing this thing and know whether you like it or not. So you can be absolutely confident that you want to go into this job. And the second piece, you've then got something to speak about when you're actually going to these places. And a classic one that so many people use is to get experience from startups. They will tend to say yes to someone who is not a subject matter expert, and you can tend to craft experiments around that, which you can then take wherever else you want. Those are the key questions that I'd like you to explore with those people. I think they'll really serve you. So I mentioned your career story. So you've got to show up and tell that. So you'll feel more confident and secure knowing how to talk about yourself. And you'll start to tell your story to give the context that you need to those people, but also for yourself, so it becomes real what you're doing. So you start to integrate all these different parts of you, your past, the reasons why you're changing in transition insight, and your future. And you can later develop this into an elevator pitch, which will be key to the marketing materials you're using to career transition. So just briefly, so you can work through this and start by sharing one sentence of what you've been doing recently and for how long. Keep it real, don't embellish, don't brag, but also don't be embarrassed or modest about what you've done. Just stick to the facts and say it how it is. Those are some examples there. So next, in the second sentence, write something positive about your career so that it's relevant to your context now. So it couldn't be an achievement you're proud of, or something you liked about your work, or something memorable or interesting. Again, a couple of examples you can see on the screen. So I'll just read one out in case you can't see it. At my jobs, I discovered I really enjoyed figuring out how to help clients with problems related to their people. Okay, a third sentence. And now, share your current situation, including why you're interested in making a transition. Name your crossroads, because that's the key to clarity and is a tool connecting past and future. Now that revealing of your choices makes your story authentic and at its best, irresistible. Okay, so just an example, I'll read out the first one. During my time exploring what's next, I realized I'm going to be more fulfilled when my work has X. Let's say it has where you are working with industry leaders in the subject matter of positive psychology that you're fascinated by. Something like that. A couple of points on this. Remember, it's always best to stay away from the negatives, focus on the positives, and there are positives that you can find in your career. I know you can. And define your area of value creation broadly. So don't get too specific, keep it broad so that then you can flex that depending upon the conversation. Now, when you do that well, as I say, it will develop into an elevator pitch. So there's mine. I'm Martin, the career change expert who could help you find fulfilling work through an online guided career design course. And we want to sum up any marketing materials you use, CV or otherwise, in that one sentence. It tells a powerful, simple story about your value, and it will play to your strengths. And we can develop that into an elevator pitch as well. I just wanted to give you an idea of that at this stage. Okay, so back to fulfillment. That's what we want. That is what we're aiming for. We're going to get that when we can use career design thinking. It's a human-centered approach to career change that helps you to integrate all of these three areas, your needs, the possibilities out there that will actually work and you'll get paid for, and whether it's actually going to work with your constraints. Now, classic career assessment has this linear approach. It's usually a career counselor who's the expert. They use these assessment tools, ones that I've shown you today, like So Can You, and they usually produce lots of scores and they guide your prediction. That's really useful. That's an important part of your change. But the qualitative side of career assessment recognizes that you're the expert in your life. It then places the emphasis on self-reflection, inspiration, and self-generated answers right for you. And it's normally a collaborative assessment process that generates meaning and allows you to be intuitive about your decisions. Now that allows you to combine those analytical side of you with the intuition, the feeling, the inspiration, the other part of your makeup as a human that's very important in making big decisions. And this process enables you to be intuitive, to recognize the patterns in your career, to construct ideas that are meaningful to you as well as practical in a real world. And this always places the emphasis on shifting naturally within your role while remaining open to a variety of options along the way. So going from small to big. So some people have done this with me before. Maria, you heard about Maria, and I'll just go into detail about her. So she was a lawyer and she was very unhappy. She quit her job and she went through this process to find purpose, principally, purpose in her work, something that she cared about, combined her interests in learning disabled people. And she's developed a life that allows her to have the autonomy that she wants, fits with her life. She's actually excited and challenged to do it. So you've got a couple of other stories of people who have been through the course as well. And back to these four steps. As I say, this is a process that tries to combine the analytical, the linear kind of process with that other side of intuition and inspiration. And because of that, it's flexible, it allows you to diverge and then converge, it has a process, but it's not a linear process. You know, it's not going to happen week by week and you can just plan in 8 weeks you're going to be there. So bear that in mind when I give you this kind of structure that we've touched on in part. You have the 4 kind of stages of those steps with a course that I run, which has these 4 steps. And it's an 8-week online guided course of career design. So the key things here is that week 1, you get clear on what you really want. Week 2, you perform those career tests so you get matched to the best careers across multiple factors very quickly, and you're very clear on your strengths. That allows you, with that kind of focus, to define through the idea generation process. And as we say, we start with the ideas that are close, we broaden out to other ones. There's multiple techniques in order to generate loads of ideas until you then shortlist the best opportunities. And you do that on clear career fulfillment criteria. So you can say, without too much disease, right, that's not for me. I know that this one's going to be better based upon these written, clear, succinct fulfillment criteria that I've created. Then that allows you to develop, and crafting a new story is part of that. It allows you to weave that coherent narrative, which in part is about explaining things to other people, in part is about explaining it to yourself and making things make sense in your own head so you can create meaning in this next step that you're going to take. At this stage, it's useful to create supporters where you can tell the story, you can sense check, or the bullshit test, as others call it, about the career fulfillment criteria that you have and the options that you're considering. In week 6, we focus on natural networking, where we are going to construct that list of people that are going to help you understand whether these top 2 to 3 roles are right for you. And usually through that process of research, which is taking place in the shortlisting of options and the kind of research that you're doing around people, you're going to develop about 40 industry people or 40 organizations together that you want to talk to. It's about the number that's useful to aim at. Next, because of that process, you can make a decision about what you want to do. And that's the key part. You can make that decision, you can commit, and you can take that next step. And week 7 is around strategic job hunt so that you can prioritize your time effectively between interviewing, researching, networking, crafting the perfect CV, and you're ensuring that you're maximizing the best use of your time and you're not spending too long doing things. Week 8 is about interviewing and negotiation. So that's how you can overcome classic career transition hurdles. You don't have the right experience, you look a bit flaky, in order to appear genuinely credible and likable so people say yes. And a bonus there is a job search automation, where we've taken all of the free tools that are out there in order to allow you to find the right jobs, to network very, very quickly. And these are the kind of principles that allow career change to take place. Being clear about exactly how you're going to do this is really important. So you make that progress, you commit, and you stay motivated. It does help when you're progressing with an experienced team that are qualified in career tests, career coaching and recruitment. Next is guided. We help you navigate that career search through that series of simple steps with support along the way. And make sure that it's personal. So the career tests and all of the kind of reflection activities and other things that you'll be doing, they're tailored to your unique journey. And in that way, it's practical as well. You can be flexible, you can learn at your own pace, and you can make progress over a series of weeks. So you're probably wondering at this point, how much is this going to cost you? So all the essentials that you need in order to make a career change are there in this package. It's 8 weeks of content full of video resources, self-reflection activities, and real-world challenges, and weekly exercises that are delivered to you. And there's access to 60 resources and more that are going to make that happen. That's £170. And I've got a problem with the slide. Here we go. You can also do this in a group, and these kind of things help in order to ensure that you're going in the right direction, you're motivated, you're accountable, you have people that will listen to you and you'll be listened to. And usually people's confidence increases, their rate of change increases, and they tend to have faster results if they go through this kind of process. And for all of those things, it's £240 if you want to spend a bit extra. And then there's the one-on-one option. So when you have my personal attention, you'll tend to work a lot faster. You'll tend to make progress a lot quicker. You have my full attention. You're going to remember more. You're going to be more motivated, and your achievement is going to increase. That's at £440. And finally, if you really want personalized attention, then you can have that for £990, a completely personalized course for you. It's 8 one-on-one sessions, so you get even more personalized attention. And we'll do a lot of the heavy lifting for you with that comprehensive career change CV and LinkedIn review, and setting up the networking and job match system for you. So if you're very busy, if you want to make change quickly, then that's best for you. And just to recap on those prices, there are all the prices. I understand that a payment plan will work for some people better. We want to make it easier for you. If you go onto the website, you'll see the payment plan right at the bottom of the page. It's £99 today, and then 2 monthly payments for the rest of the course. So that's the bonus that I want to give to everyone. It's automating your job hunt, as I mentioned it, using all the free software out there. It will make you make progress quicker, remove anxiety, ensure you're really organized, and you've got a job searching machine that's going to work for you. I want to make it easy for you to say yes. 10% promo code because you're here, because you made that effort. There's the promo code. You can put that in on the website when you've chosen which particular option you want to take. Now, this isn't available for people who are doing the part payment plan. You're probably wondering why this is, why it's more expensive. Well, imagine you're going to the gym. If you purchase just 1 of 2 sessions, then it's likely you're going to quit and you're not going to see the results. If you've paid in advance, you've got that discount, then you're going to commit. The amount of money that you put in means you're not going to walk away. And I want to get results for people. And you'll be happy with the results that you get when you can commit. And this is the promise I want to make. Now, I created this course because I've helped numerous people get results in career change. All of the content, exercises, strategies are tested. I spent hundreds of hours putting these together to create a step-by-step process that works. And I stand by my work. So if you don't feel like this is a course that's helping you improve, you're not moving towards your fulfilling career in 2 months, I'm happy to offer a 100% money back guarantee. So I can't do the work for you. You have to do it yourself. Just send in by email the work you've done and I'll give your money back. And with that in mind, this course is designed for people at a very specific stage. So you're an ideal candidate when you're looking for change from your current environment. You want this. You're looking for that to happen, ideally in the next 6 months, and you're up for that change. That's when you will achieve the results. I want you to commit to this. This is an important investment of your time and money, and that's because there's a lot at stake. I want you to own your feelings. I want you to find direction. I want you to take control of your life and build a career on your own terms. And however you do it, find those reasons to act, to make that next career choice that far outweigh all of the reasons to stay. Now, any questions? I've zipped through that material. We're around the hour mark. I apologize, I've run a little over. Let me have a look for questions. Do answer anything that is on your mind now about the course, about anything around career change, any resources that you would like to see. Let me just have a look at these questions. Okay, I see the first question. Can I try other things like my own projects at the same time? I'm going to start answering this one. Can I try things like my own projects at the same time? I'm presuming that's the same time as the course, Jack. I'm thinking of taking a course right now. So I think the short answer is yes. I think that would be really, really useful. This course is designed to get you moving quickly. It will enhance that when you're trying new things out. That's usually going to be in the develop phase. So we want to be sure about that you've defined exactly what you want for your career fulfillment criteria. We want to be sure about all of the options that you've done and you've explored all of your best options, the ones that are going to be right for you. And of course, can enhance and make sure that you're going in the right direction, you make a confident decision, and you can commit to that. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, Emily asked a question first. I just want you to tell me the job I should do now. Can you help with this? Okay, so I imagine, Emily, that you're thinking, right, I just want to make progress. I want certainty. I want to know what I should do. Well, I know it's difficult to deal with that complexity, and I wish it was simple and someone could just tell you what to do. But this is complicated. It goes to the heart of who you are and what you really want to do with your life. And it's going to take an investment of time and energy for you to understand what is going to be best for you. So if you're not sure, then I'd recommend to sign up or to find another way for you to get really clear, to generate those ideas, to test them so that you can be sure, and then to make a decision. Okay. I've got another question from Jack. What if I need to take a break because of a work or holiday? That's fine. Yeah, this course is designed to be self-paced. So you take it at your own kind of pace, and you can ensure that when you take time off, the course can fit around that, and then you can pick it up. And it's designed for you to be able to do the materials in a few hours every week. But certainly when you want to take the time off, that's absolutely fine. And indeed, in the develop and the deliver phase, that's going to radically change, be it a 2-month kind of time horizon or 2 years even with some people, because of the step that they want to take, because it's going to take that much more training, because it's going to take that much more education. And they're prepared and they've made that decision to commit to it. So certainly a holiday in there, it totally makes sense. It happens all the time. Okay, any more questions? James, thanks for coming along. Thanks for saying it. You've got the promo code there, guys. And I look forward to seeing you on the course.